So over the weekend, I saw an Instagram post that was about how, like, everything different generations have gone through, and the amount that, like, Gen Z has gone through. I'm like, oh yeah, that rings a bell, and so does that, and so does that. So I wrote a poem about it, and it's called The Struggle Bus. I know every generation had a different situation, dealt with different frustrations, and faced their own complications. However, being part of Gen Z, it seems to me that we have collectively been living in our own struggle bus. Since we were first thrust into this world, it has challenged us. Society has done nothing but siphon every last ounce of our strength and will. Whenever we finally crest a hill, we see only a horizon filled with steeper climbs and more blood spilled. On the path we have been forced to follow by people before. Yet there is something in our core that wants there to be more to our lives than cleaning up what they left behind and constantly needing to hide since it's not safe to go outside. Due to a global pandemic or guns or decreased protection from the sun, due to the fires, earthquakes, and floods, due to those trafficking people by the ton. So we never leave home. Even if we could, where would we go? Everything is pricey, but the jobs are low in opportunity and in cash flow. You need to have been working for 10 years just to start your career, so your struggle bus is stuck in neutral gear while the door is locked and the air is dense with fear. Gen Z tends to get a bad rap. Honestly, that is total crap. Boomers say pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but any boots you might have will likely lead to a trap. The trap of being human in a civilization defined by how bad you're losing. You can't win no matter what you're doing, so your mind ends up with daily bruising. If we have big dreams, they're called unrealistic goals. If we have empathy, we are weak. If not, our hearts are cold. If we get things done, we do too much. If not, we are told we are lazy and should act like the people of old. Because they got a job young, moved out and settled down, they lived happily and were not afraid in their town. They wonder why we can't do that now. I say to that, please, just look around. The bar is really low for being okay. It feels like there's at least one crisis per day. Sometimes all you see is a future turned gray. So I'm proud of us for still trying to find our way. Because if your struggle bus isn't soaked in gasoline, heading for a train carrying garbage at breakneck speed, if your bus wasn't made by an AI machine, nobody cares. At least that's how it seems. And that by itself can lead us to edges if we were not already driven to them by mixed messages about who we are and what is expected. But through all of this, please know your worth is not lessened. And maybe in time, while we're on this bumpy ride, we can wave hi to each other when our struggle buses pass by. And then I'm gonna try and sing a song that I wrote. We'll see how it goes. It's called Love Like Us. Originally, it was gonna be called You'd Think They'd Know, but then I wanted it to be a little more positive, so I thought maybe changing the name would help. We'll see. Okay. The Proud Boys are nothing but a bunch of loud boys who are afraid of black and brown boys and girls. Just for existing in this world, these racists thrive on nothing but the hatred they spread, and can't tell that they're wasting their time. We won't bow to their small minds. You'd think they'd know by now that we're not backing down until we get this clown and us out of our towns. But they don't seem to understand because the guns in their hands somehow block this knowledge from getting to their heads. They aimed at their unconscious, so their morals wound up dead. You'd think they know by now that it is dangerous to go after neighbors that love like us. This president is nothing but a high-class felon. Just take a look at all the evidence in the files. Why do you think he avoids trials? When people get arrested, or worse, for nothing but protesting, a regime that won't protect them. It's not due cause, it's power built by fascist cause. You'd think they know by now that we're not backing down until we get this clown and ice out of our towns. But they don't seem to understand because the guns in their hands somehow block this knowledge from getting to their heads. They aimed at their own conscience, so their morals wound up dead. You'd think they'd know by now that it is dangerous to go after neighbors that love like us. You'd think they'd know by now that it is dangerous. You'd think they'd know by now we're not the ones to push. You'd think they'd know by now to lay their weapons on the ground, and after time they'd realize how much they messed up. They might even learn how to love like us. You'd think they'd know by now that we're not backing down until we get this crown and ice out of our towns. But they don't seem to understand because the guns in their heads somehow block this knowledge from getting to their heads. They aimed at their own conscience, so their morals wound up dead. You'd think they'd know by now that it is dangerous to go after neighbors that love like us. You'd think they'd know by now that it is dangerous to go after neighbors that love like us.